What's happening, everybody? Alrighty. Let's lower down the music just a wee bit so that you can hear me. Okay, cool. And I'm just making some coffee here real quick. So hopefully that will be done in just a second. Just give me a second. I mean, it's K-cup coffee, so it's going to be what it's going to be. What I lovingly refer to as the last resort. How's it going, everybody? I am BirdDogJon, and I got my coffee, if that's what you want to call this. Oh, man, that's bad. Ugh. I mean, I'm still going to drink it, but it's pretty bad. How's it going? Let me know how things sound on your end. Checking the restream here on my side. It might be a little bit too hot, but you can always turn it down, I guess. Okay, cool. And my smart devices keep hearing me say okay, cool, and they keep responding. They just responded again, but I'm not actually talking to them. They're constantly listening. Hope you're doing well, guys. Thanks for joining me today. Here to do a little NDI chat. Hey, what's going on? Thanks for jumping in. You get the first chatter prize, which is nothing, by the way, but you can claim that today as your reward. There we go. Alrighty. This is funny. So my stream keeps, so it shows me like real-time feedback from Restream, and it says that I'm running at 60 frames per second, but then every now and then it drops down to 20. So hopefully things hold out. On Sunday night we lost power, and so many of you who have tickets in may be wondering what is going on with your ticket. Hey, Sammy Pig, how are you? Nice to see you. You're probably wondering what's going on with your ticket, and the reality is the support desk was, I was connected to like a coffee shop's Wi-Fi, and I was sitting in my truck because here in Michigan businesses are closing down again for another shutdown wave, which they're calling it an economic pause, which is also known as a shutdown. They want to call it a pause because they don't want everybody to continue to use harsh language like shutdown. But that's exactly what it is, so let's not kid ourselves. Anyway, so I was sitting in my truck in a parking lot, mooching off of someone's Wi-Fi, a coffee shop's Wi-Fi. Now, for the record, I paid for their coffee, so I went and like got a coffee, and then when I was done, I also went and got another coffee. So I feel like I paid for it, you know, paid for my service, which was like a grand total of, by the time I was done, it was about $10, so that's pretty expensive Wi-Fi. And for what it was not worth $10. But anyways, so Monday morning, I spent the majority of it in my vehicle, mooching off of Wi-Fi and trying to close tickets on my iPad. And that was fun, to say the least. But then beyond that, I have been home. I was home for half a day yesterday, trying to get some things done. Yeah, economic pause. Yeah, it's our governor's way of trying to not get... she got sued the last time she shut it down, so she's trying hard not to do that again. So anyways, so today I've been answering new tickets. I still haven't gotten through all the new tickets because of yesterday's backup and then today's edition. And there's also something else going on where we're supposed to be transitioning over to another help desk system, and we're going to change the way we do support at BirdDog because It's not sustainable the way that it's going. And although everybody really likes it this way, it's just I'm burning on both ends. So first things first is we're going to bring some people on to give us some help. So we've got a guy starting soon, and he will be based out of Europe. And then we're probably going to have another person in the US and maybe somebody in Australia. So time is kind of unfolding and showing what the plan is going to be. With the pandemic, it's, you know, changes every week, but I think we've got a plan worked out. The support desk portion of BirdDog is growing quickly, and so that's going to be good news. Moving to a new support system, and so hopefully that will allow us to service our clients in a more efficient way. And the first line of defense is going to be more of an intuitive self-service setup where you don't have to wait 6 hours for me to respond anymore, or if you are over in Europe or in the States, you don't have to wait 24 hours to really get a conversation response. We want to provide those answers for you as much as I can. And so when we're bringing on people to kind of answer the day-to-day tickets, I'm going to step up and start doing the proactive stuff and, you know, making little videos and tutorials and things on how to get going. So that's going to be happening pretty soon. Like, I hope by January 1st, I will be doing a lot of that and not doing kind of the nitty-gritty day-to-day ticket responses, because that eats up my whole day. And on top of RMAs and returns and repairs and whatever, like I got a whole stack of boxes on the other side of that wall, and on this side of the wall actually, but these are not I mean, these vary. And that's a whole year of accumulation, and some of them are not broken. Like the A300 that's sitting up there, the big one, are actually one of our show models. So we that whole wall is not necessarily defunct cameras and that sort of products, but there's a lot, and we need to probably get into. Oh, there's also a HTC Cosmos 5 headset box, so it's not all BirdDog exclusive either. Yes, Sammy, there's a new guy in the UK. I think he's starting around the beginning of December, so BirdDog is always looking for people. I mean, our hiring process is interesting because sometimes we broadcast that we're hiring, and sometimes we go and get the people we want. And so depends on what those people do, and you know, whether or not there's various things are going on. Here in the US, BirdDog does a lot of business in the US. I mean, that's partially the reason why I exist in the function that I do, is because 2 years ago, 2 years ago, we were doing such high volume in the US with some pretty big name distributors, one in particular, that we basically needed somebody who was awake during the same time as that distributor, so that we could, you know, reply to tickets and installers and whatever within the day. I'm still doing global support, and so like it got a little bit tricky because although I'm awake in the US, I'm still answering everybody around the world, and they're coming on and offline at different times. And so that plan was good. We still do a large portion of our business in the US, and so we're looking to bring somebody on to help with that. Might be more central to where I am, because we may be looking at setting up shop soon. Yeah, well, I'd be a pretty sad excuse as an entertainer if that's all I did around here. For those of you who don't know, I am the support agent for BirdDog. One day, I hope to be doing more training and more like integration and tutorials and that sort of thing. But right now, I am the support agent for BirdDog. I mean, there's another guy that does QA in Australia, which is quality assurance, but he's really heavy into like the firmware, making sure it's ready to go. And we got so many firmwares coming off the line all the time that he is super busy. Like there's no doubting that dude is not only earning his keep. His name is Powell. Not only earning his keep, but he's making our products so much better just before they roll off the line. And so he does have access to the support system, and he helps me out with Australian clients and like communicating with the dev team. But for the most part, he needs to focus on his job, and so I try not to bother him too much with too many tickets because he's got other things going on, which are vital to getting our products working correctly. So, good stuff there. How's it going, Facebook? My personal feed is up there and on YouTube, although we don't have too many people that join us on YouTube these days, which is fine. I don't need a third audience out there, but it's fun. Hope you're doing well for those of you who are joining us on Facebook. And then, of course, here on Twitch, which is the main show, is where we do the majority of our chatting and traffic and all that sort of good stuff. So thanks for hanging out today, guys. Okay, so you may have seen that there was some news about the camera line and cam control. If you haven't, check out the BirdDog Facebook user group page. And I can put a link. There is going to be a webinar at noon Eastern time here in the US about an announcement for cam control and for our camera lineup. That is all I will say about that. However, there is, where is it here? There is a Zoom registration link that if you want to be a part of that, click this link and come hang out with us on Friday at noon for that big announcement. There's a bunch of stuff that we're going to be talking about. So they are saying it is our biggest announcement yet in terms of upgrades. Biggest upgrade announcement yet. So check us out. Register for that. You're going to get a link. When you fill that information out, you'll get a little link and a calendar invite. Add that to your calendar so you don't miss it. $5 p.m. UK time. Phil usually already sent me a link. Yeah. Good stuff. Good. What's going on, Phil? I almost missed you there. How are you, man? Let's see. Over the UK right now, what is it? 4:15 over there. You guys are almost done. Exciting. No problem, Phil. All right. Be sure that you check out the LinkedIn page too. A lot of traffic on LinkedIn. And a lot of people are following us on LinkedIn, so there's going to be more announcements posted there as well. So that's more of our professional page, whereas the Facebook one is kind of let's just say a mosaic of things. That's the nice way of putting it. That's 6 in Europe, right? Oh shoot, I was just there. Hang on. What are you guys ahead of me? You're 5 hours ahead of me? So if it's noon here, it'll be 5 o'clock there, right? What's going on, guys? If you're over on Facebook, shoot me a comment. Let me know you're there. Yeah, you're ahead 5 hours, according to my watch. I have working for an international company. The Apple Watches come in handy because you can set up complications, so I can set different time zones. So Phil's over in London, so I got one, so I'm not bugging him at all weird hours of the day. Melbourne obviously is many hours away, plus 16 hours in the future, so it's really confusing if you don't have that sort of information readily available. So I put it on as a complication, and now I can just check and I know what time I'm bugging these guys. I'm in the Netherlands, so that's 6 for me. Nice. Well, if you can join us, please do. I don't know if there's valid reason to have a little webinar after party here on Twitch. I'm not opposed to it. I should totally do that. Just for like 30 minutes. I'm sure you'll all have lots of questions that I won't be able to answer, but you can shoot them at me and then I can get answers for you for the next week. I think I'm supposed to be briefed on all these updates prior to the announcement, so I may actually be able to answer them for you. We will see. We will see. It's going to be a busy week, for sure. Oh, there is a beta for there's a beta out for P100, and there's a beta for 4K SDI, maybe even the whole family. Hang on, let me look. Yes, the whole, just HDMI and SDI. So there are betas for those. So if you have one of those and you want to try the beta, the update enables the SFP Plus cage and enables the 4K DCI SDI inputs. But there are some caveats here. So if you want it, let me know and I can email it to you, and then with the whole setup stuff. Yeah, I'm excited. There should be lots to talk about. So. Hey Jim, how? Election recount results. I don't know much about that, Jim. Jim is over on Facebook. How are you, man? I don't know much about the election stuff right now. It seems like the media world doesn't want to talk about it anymore, and it seems like the Republicans still think that there's a lot to talk about. So I don't know what to believe. And quite frankly, since I don't get a say, I just have to kind of go along for the ride. So my opinion doesn't matter too much in this regard. Alrighty, so yeah, there's some stuff coming up about that, about the camera lineup, so that's exciting. Had a very interesting conversation yesterday about network design, 2 conversations actually, with a couple of guys, one from New Tech and another installer in Ontario, or actually I think he's out in Manitoba, maybe. Anyway, oh no, he's in Ontario. So anyways, talking to these two guys just about network stuff and kind of like network configuration, right? Because when BirdDog releases the wall plate unit, we're going to be entering into a market where potentially there are 20, 30, 50, 100 or more NDI sources on your network. And so when we start expanding to that sort of size, there's going to be a lot of questions about network configuration. And essentially, when you get a lot of sources, you're going to want to probably consider a layer 3 multicast network. That is not the same as a UDP network, and that's not it's very different than a TCP network. Multicast, in short, just basically relies on your network infrastructure to deliver the packets that it needs. And so if you want to use multicast, you're going to have to configure your network correctly so that, it'll do that job. I've had a couple of tickets in the past couple of days that have basically just said, I want to configure my network multicast. How do I do it? Here's the problem with that is I'm not going to be able to tell you how to configure your network. That is something that a certified network technician or that's a very expensive paid job, you hire people to do that. And so we're trying diligently to get the right people involved if they need to do multicast or if they need to do advanced networking and not just rely on service technicians, because that's not a good way to install your network. There's a BirdDog network switch coming? No, not to my knowledge. I know that there are NDI companies that are talking to switch manufacturers to see if they can get them NDI approved, but there's so much that goes into that it's almost better to get a switch with a service level agreement with the company. So even Netgear has a service level agreement where they'll help you set that all up so that you don't have to hire a technician or whatever. You can get that when you buy the fleet of switches, or a switch for that matter. I think it's a subscription-based service. Anyway, so there's lots to think about there, because as networks get more and more advanced, it's we're going to buy 20 wall plates. Okay, well, each of them will do 2 sources. And so that's going to be, X amount of sources, potential sources at full NDI running HD. You're going to want to have a very robust network to handle that sort of packet data. So it was a really interesting conversation about networking. It also reiterated to me the importance of 2 things. The first is, if you're getting into the NDI world, you really got to be willing to take a bite out of the network world and, learn some network basics. And that will get you into the TCP UDP realm. If you're looking for multicast stuff, then you're probably going to look for either a service level agreement, or you're going to be looking for hiring somebody who is a network administrator who can set that up for you. So there's a new Netgear AV switch. Oh boy. When was this announced? And what does that even mean? Audio over IP, video over IP. Does it say NDI? Because that would be amazing. IGMP. Out of box functionality. Does it say NDI? It does not. So it is not tested with NDI from what I can tell. Optimized for NDI Dante and several other protocols. Where do you see that? I don't see NDI listed on their site at all for this. I'm all about it. Overall case studies or find out more. Oh, nope, not listed on their certified AV over IP partners list. Case studies. I would be all about it if they came out with a switch that had NDI in their documentation. Frequently asked questions as of the 30th of January. Not to say anything with NDI in that house. Landing the 4250. Whoa, that's a pretty good. Engineered for AV over IP. Okay. I'm on board so far. Video transitions to over IP versus yada 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 yada. Using Dante. Okay, yeah. Learn more. A lot of tabs over there. Hang on. Oh, this took me back to the main page. AV extended features list. All right, so I'm looking at the 4250 12 M2XF with 2 SFP plus ports and 12 by 2.5 gigahertz. Oh, gig ports, sorry. Bandless, yada yada. QSys, Dante, NVX. NVX is the Crestron one, right? SVSI, QSys, NDI. It is actually listed on this. All right. Alrighty. Let's just check something out here. Where is the... Interact. Okay, I'm gonna leave this here. Sorry, I want to pull this up so that we can all see this. Try out my little watch party feature here. Interact with this. Yeah, who's got a price? Hey, Miller of Oz. How's it going? Thanks for jumping in. Okay, so oh, why can't I scroll? Ah. All right, so this is the website. It's kind of a mess because, oh, there we go. Whoa. What happened there? Let's see if I can. Come on. Doesn't translate very well over to OBS. Has a clear background. It's very shallow, eh? Like, I kind of like it in terms of an AV switch. I like the form factor a bit. And it's all like rear jacks, right? Well, I'm unable to. Can I refresh? Oh, there it goes. There it goes. Yay! Oh, now I'm stuck. Oh my gosh! Oh, this would have been easier if I had just shown it on the website, which is what I'm gonna end up doing. So, all right, here we go. Let's do this as we should have done originally. You can't hear that, which is the issue. But it's fine. They're just general. Designed for AV pros. All ports are on the back. Starting at 8 ports. They're all SFP plus. 90 watts per port. Hey-oh, now it just needs to be 97. Pre-configured for out-of-the-box functionality. Oh my gosh, I gotta get my hands on one of these. Where? Where? Fanless and quiet modes. Look at those. Oh. So there are reverse rack mounts so that you can mount them backwards. Alrighty. Well, let's find what the price is. Netgear. 4250s. M2 XF. Not available on currently not available on Amazon. Netgear M4250s. How are they pre-configured? Like, I want to know. Newegg. Yeah, so they're $800 here in the US. Never know with new Netgear for less? What is that garbage? Get out of here. There we go. Netgear. Good picture, guys. Alright, so this is the one. It looks like we've got. It's gonna be $900 by the time you get it home. This is the first one that I've seen that flat out says for NDI right here. So this is just the switch, right? We're not talking about like a DNS server or anything, but Miller has $1,200 on his. Where is this? Canada? Oh, CDW. 16 ports. I think this one's 8 ports, right? Well, I like that there's 2 SFP plus fiber uplinks. It says access denied. You may be out of country, that's why. They may not let you order. You may not be able to look at CDWGs if you're accessing it from Europe. Netherlands, right? AVB requires AVB. An additional license? Really? Why? Ugh. Friggin' Netgear cash grab. Yeah. Newegg though is still cheaper by $400. When were these released? Are they in stock? Sold and shipping in stock currently. Time for the old school. Here, just here. This is Newegg. Newegg is probably not, doesn't care where it's from. Well, that is impressive. I'll send this over to the boys, see what they think. Let's have a look. Firmware. Yada yada yada. Cool, cool. I like it. I'd like to see the 8-port model because it would obviously be cheaper. 4250. Wait, 50? Yeah. Was it 8? I assume that's the model. 425010. This one. Dang! That's halfway decent. That's a thick AV switch. Where's the thin one? What one is that? Like your 3 switch. Not available in the EU. Oh, bummer. So the teeny one is the 12-port. This is very interesting. I'm very interested in this because I have been waiting, and I knew it was coming, but I have been waiting for a switch to come out and say, we interface with NDI. I mean, most switches will interface with NDI, but for a company like Netgear, for any company to come out and say that it will do it, now the question only remains, to what extent will you function? So there's only 125 watts in power here, but for over 8 ports, and it's running just PoE plus. Oh gosh. What's the power budget on this guy? Because that's like that's like a P400. It's not very much. Here are the options. How much power? Specs. Usable power. Am I missing something here? Hello. What's the power budget? Really be careful with this. Totally fanless operation. Need that PoE plus plus. Yeah, for sure. NDI, especially full NDI, but NDI in general, requires a lot of your switch. And it's going to generate a lot of heat. And then when you start adding additional sources, it's going to add a lot of heat. So really be careful running switches that don't have proper cooling. I've had multiple reports, okay? I won't tell you how many, but of switches burning out after 2 years of running full NDI because it generates that sort of heat. So if you are going to, what happened here? So if you're going to run it fanless, this needs to be in an air-conditioned room probably. And even then, I wouldn't run it fanless. I would push the air. On switches, air usually goes left to right. So as you're stacking your AV unit, just keep adequate airflow from left to right. Servers will go front to back typically, right? But switches go left to right. So be sure that you have adequate airflow. I've actually seen rack-mounted AC units, which are really cool. I don't know how effective they are. And there's nothing here. Oh, is that a power conditioner? Yeah. Well, this is really cool. Thank you to whoever sent this over. I am thrilled to see a company actually put the NDI protocol on here because that says two things. First, they will support it. Okay, so up until now, no switching company is supporting NDI. So now Netgear comes out and they actually say it does work, and which means that they will support it. The other thing that this means is there is strong potential for, because they support it, there is really strong potential that more switches are going to go this way, and it legitimizes even more the takeover that NDI has had in the AV world. Not even the AV world, it's legitimized the takeover that NDI has had over the BNC SDI world. So, and other video IP protocols. Like there are other ones out there, right? Crestron has one, and there's, just straight up video over IP stuff that encode at like ridiculous rates. But NDI is really like where people you get a lot in a small package, relatively compared. So I'm excited to see this because that's really big news. And if you're first to the claim, then you might get a whole bunch of early adopters, which means that not only does your product get better, but it also means that you make a lot of money, which means that you get more interested in why people are buying it. So no problem, John. So yeah, thank you. I'm really interested in this. If I had $1,000, I would probably order one. But I'm gonna need to talk to the powers that be. I don't mind the Unify stuff, but I don't like it for long-term use. I'm afraid I'm going to burn it out pretty quick. And I know Unify is one of those brands that does burn out fast, even though it can handle the NDI stuff. It's just known to overheat and pack up, basically. So I'm a little bit concerned there. Time will tell, right? Like, we don't know any of this stuff really yet because NDI is still pretty new. But we'll check it out. We'll see what happens. Hey, if you're hanging around, don't forget to follow the channel. That would help me out big time because it helps with our stats and what have you, and helps us out with Twitch. I'm not in this to make any money or anything like that on this channel. I'm just having a good time and chatting with you guys. And the one thing that is free for you and free for me is if you would follow the channel. That'd be great. And if you want to, if you have a Prime subscription, and you want to link your Twitch account and subscribe to the channel, that's cool too. Any dollar amount that I do make on this channel will only go to buy better equipment for the channel. So I'm not lining my pockets. And by the way, I haven't made a single dollar off of this channel yet. And I've been going for almost a year and a half. So yeah, there it is. There you go. And if you subscribe, your name will get added to these lists that are on the screens. And that's all good stuff. I have an all-time gifter, Beep Chirp, who likes to randomly gift subscriptions every now and then, and so he's done it so much that I feel like I need to have a permanent place for him. Or if anybody wants to try and compete, that's also fine. Go for it. But I put his name up here because I appreciate that, and good stuff. But yeah, if you follow, your name will appear over here in this little box. If you sub, it'll also appear there, but it will also appear here. And then if you gift more than 42 subscriptions of all, like, over the course of your lifetime here, you would appear today down there as on your own name. So, and of course the follower list is also included at the bottom of the page. But anyway, try and give you some little freebie there. I usually offer clients the Ubiquiti switches. Yeah, I mean, okay, so here's the thing. I don't say one way or another, okay? You want to use Ubiquiti, use Ubiquiti. I know that in big installations, they don't hold up because they burn out after a couple of years. They just can't generate that sort of heat for that long if they're doing a lot. Okay, now there are churches, there are community houses, there are all sorts of folks that stream once a week or twice a week, and they power up their system and they shoot, and then they power it down and they walk away for several days. That'll be fine, I think. I think that's all I can really tell you. I'm pretty sure that'll be fine. If you're installing this where you're doing like 30 NDI sources every day, all day long, first of all, what I have noticed is my Ubiquiti switches make a lot more noise these days, and they get hot. This room heats up with the server that I have in here, and then the Ubiquiti switches now. There's like a 10 or 15 degrees difference outside this room compared to in here, so it generates a lot of heat. So just be careful there about that. Make sure that it's well ventilated. Let me look here. So yeah, I have no NDI running over my Ubiquiti switch right now. 0 sources. It's holding at 68 degrees Celsius, which is really hot for not doing anything. Should I plug in devices and make it go? Like, for sure I should. And let's just take a peek at what that will generate, what that will do. All right, got a couple sources going. Firing it up. Maybe time to clean them. It's a pretty clean environment, actually. They don't get, and they're about 2 months old. So they are not getting that, they're not really that dirty. Large installs? Well, your network is probably not going to be TCP or UDP if you're doing a large install. You know, like if you're doing more than 10 sources, your network needs to handle that packet traffic. It cannot be these little Linux boards that are inside of these devices. All cameras, all encoders and decoders, like they're not computers, right? Like my server can navigate a network, no problem. These things are that's not what they're doing. That's not what their NIC card's job is. So, I mean, you have to kind of make this call, I think, as an installer. You have to decide, once we get to a certain threshold, we have to design the network to handle it. And really the only way to do that is multicast. I don't have a step-by-step for that. That is going to require me not looking at tickets for 8 hours a day and actually have some time to, you know, play around with things and test it and see how it functions. And so there's lots to kind of talk about there. Whoops. Oh, nice. Did this come on? Yay. Okay, cool. All right, so I've got several NDI sources here that have just fired up on the network. I want to change this P200's first preset. All right. There we go. All right, so let's move this over here. I'm just going to watch the temperature on my switches. So, for example, the fiber switch is 45 degrees right now. 45 degrees Celsius. And the 16-port switch is 68 degrees. All right, let's move some packets here. Ooh, and I should show you guys this. So yesterday I was working with a client, and I had we were working out of Wireshark, and that's cool stuff, and that'll stress the network a little bit. So here, my NDI network is over. I connect via fiber for all my network stuff. I'm going to stop this. All right, here we go. It's gonna fill up quick. So, all right, so this is Wireshark, and I'm just doing a packet capture on the fiber line that's going from my computer to whatever is talking on the. So you'll notice all of these packets are 10 to 13, right? Let's drop that and switch over to this guy, and now it's 10 to 16. See that? You see how that changes? I don't know if you can read that. Let's give you a little bigger full screen. Okay, so here we have Wireshark running, and it says, 1.10 to 1.16. That's a mini. And then if I switch it to my P200, now we see 10 to 113. Okay, let's stop this. This, if you're running a TCP network, this is what it should look like. Okay, nice and clean. No drop packets, nothing like that. So this is a good way to see what Wireshark is up to. All right, I'm gonna bring me back here. Okay, so this is what Wireshark should look like. Now, if we go into the, bring this over here. If I go into the web UI, and I want to change here, I'm gonna change the network setup to prefer to transmit UDP. I'm going to hit apply, and then I'm going to restart the device, reboot the device, and that is going to power cycle my camera. So now I can look at, we can do this HDMI one. Let's close, cancel. New packet capture, continue. So we're going to see 16 again because now I'm watching the NDI feed from my Mini. And let's get the quad going. Why not? Actually, let's get the flex going. So the flex is already plugged in. So, come on now. Okay, so flex is in. And there it is here. So the P200 is up. And now we're going to see 1.12. So that's the flex. Whoops. Alright, we can probably... Uh-oh. And Wireshark did not like that. Close. Close. Anyway, these ACK segments that you're seeing here on this list, don't report it to. That is what you should be expecting when you're running NDI over your network. Now, UDP packets, all right? This is 1.13 that I have connected here, and that is my P200. And the protocol that it's using is UDP. So if you are ever wondering if your camera is transmitting correctly on your network, you can run Wireshark and just watch the traffic. What I do is I turn on my machine that's on that network. When I open Wireshark, I select the NIC card that I'm using for that network. And then I just let it run. And I open Studio Monitor on the computer and I watch the selected NDI feed that I want to watch. And you will see these all populate here as packets that are coming and going and arriving correctly and all that sort of good stuff. So as we... Oh, look, there's a... Did I just select that? Is that why? Yeah, okay. So as the frames are going by, you will see this sort of stuff populating. Let's make this appropriately big. That's too big. So the protocol is correct, all right? It's being sent UDP, which is a lot less data than TCP, right? So when you're looking at UDP packets, they're going to look like this because it's a one-way packet. It's going from this specific port, 46763, to my computer port, which is 6963. That's the UDP ports that it's using. When it's switched to TCP, you're going to see a lot more back and forth because TCP is a send and confirm format. So this is actually relatively light on the network, UDP. So if you're having a lot of traffic on your network and you're having issues with bottlenecking, you can try the UDP protocol and that will alleviate some of the congestion on your network. But the network can't be very complicated if you're going to use UDP, because what's happening is, essentially, for an analogy, I'll say it's taking the packet and it's throwing it to the network and saying, here's the next one, here's the next one, here's the next one, and expecting that your whatever it is that's viewing the packets is going to be able to catch them, look at them in sequence, unpackage them, keep them going without needing any of that. If you're finding that you're getting like drop frames and things like that, you're going to want to use TCP, which is a send and receive, meaning that it sends a packet and waits for the confirmation to come back. So let's just go back to that real quick so you can see. So see how UDP is kind of nice and clean like that? All right, let's go back to TCP. Let's see if this will work just by hitting that. Maybe not. Continue without. No, it's still doing TCP. So I'm going to reboot device. That did not like that. All right, so let's stop this. Wait for the camera to come back online. And I'm doing that here, by the way. Let's do this. So this is my P200, which is just here next to my monitors. And once it comes back, once I get a picture. Whoa. Well, okay. So Flex is here, by the way. There it is. So Flex is there, and we can run this. Continue without saving. And now we're going to see 12. All right, so now check this out. Remember how UDP was like nice and clean? And now we have a whole bunch of extra things. Oh, come on. My computer really doesn't like Wireshark. All right, let's give her another go. Close program. Don't tell Microsoft. Good golly. Hang on. Here we go. Okay, here it is. Yoink, yoink. Okay, so check this out. See all this extra stuff going on? This is all the send and receive that you're getting from, look at this. Fragment overlaps, old data. This is basically the TCP protocol sending and receiving at the same time. And in real-time video, it's helpful to get a nice clean stream to do this, but it's this much busier. Like, it's so much faster. And so it's so much more data. So if you have a very simple network, like if it's just DHCP on a switch with 2 or 3 NDI sources, you might be able to get away with just UDP, nice, simple, you know, whatever. You won't have all of this back and forth confirmation business. But UDP kind of gets out of hand pretty quick when your network gets complicated. And so that's where a layer 3 multicast network comes in, where now the network can handle all that stuff and deliver those packets to the few places that it needs to. In a broadcast scenario, these packets arrive at every endpoint and the endpoints trash them or don't trash them. Whereas in a multicast network, multicast is able to take the packet and know this device is looking for this packet and send it to there, but not send it to your other endpoint. So in this scenario, these two are talking together and that's working just fine, but there's a lot of data going on. Whereas in a multicast network, it's a UDP protocol, okay? And it takes the packet and delivers it to the destination because the multicast network is responsible for the delivery of that packet, which means that you can run hundreds of NDI sources on your network, and it won't flood your network the same way that this will in a unicast or in a TCP environment. So it's really cool stuff. Like, you just have to know how to leverage your network to do that. It needs to be a layer 3 multicast, and then on the layer 2 side can handle these sorts of switches. And I'll say it again, I say it once a show at least now because it's a great line. NDI is a plug-and-play protocol if your NDI network is set up correctly. Okay? So NDI is a plug-and-play protocol if you are set up correctly with your NDI network. If you don't have an NDI network, it's not plug-and-play. If you're buying a Netgear unmanaged switch, it's not plug-and-play. We need to get on the same page as to what this really means. NDI is a plug-and-play protocol if your NDI network, which is a high-performance video network, is configured correctly. Okay? It's very simple to get news sources online as long as you have a real NDI network. If you don't, then it's gonna frustrate you because it's high-performance video. We're talking about thousands and thousands of packets in very little amount of time. I didn't run this for very long. Like, I just ran this for a few seconds. And look how much data we've got going on here. Tons and tons of data. Now, again, if you don't know much about networks, but your NDI network is simplified, you have a simple DHCP server, and you've got one single switch, then we can go over and switch this to UDP, and that will limit the packets. Now, it's not as consistent, but limit here. Do you have an NDI configuration documents available that makes sense to average noobs? Is there a written down version of how to do this? Well, what do you mean? Written down version of how to change the network protocol on a camera? That's easy. Log in, go to System, NDI Settings, and select your protocol. By default, it should be TCP because that's the most reliable because you have a send and receive. If you want to change it to UDP, you can. If you're asking, is there a written out documentation to how to set up multicast networks? No. Multicast networks are tailored to the brand and the switch that you're buying. And so what you probably need to do is get a SLA with the company that you purchased the switch from and have them come in and set up a multicast network, because it's actually pretty complex. But once it's set up correctly, it's way better, in my opinion, than TCP and UDP. It's probably the ideal way to do it, but it requires layer 3 switching. It requires that you know, like, that you or you know someone that is a network administrator. So that's like a, that's a complicated setup, and it's not for noobs to do. All right, so don't just go in here and say, I'm gonna run this in multicast. No, you're not. You're not gonna set that up on your own. You need somebody that knows what they're doing. So if you're having flooding issues, then run it in UDP and see if it quiets down the traffic. Oh, whoops, let's change this over again. So this is flex, right? Yeah. So if it quiets down traffic, that's great. And it probably will. So look at how much send and receive sequence. This is the response for the for a previous packet. I think it's up here. So it's a two-way street, really busy, really crazy. We switch it to UDP, and then we reboot our device. We just wait for it to come back here. Wait for the camera to show up in studio monitor. Come on. Have a little quick power nap. Waiting for this camera to come back online. Alright, well. Come on. There we go. Alright. So now, run a new packet capture. Continue without saving. And look how nice and clean that is. Look at that. I mean, it's a lot of packets, but it's less than half of what was going on before. And that's all coming across. There's no acknowledgements, right? It's all just UDP packets arriving in time. And it works just fine. Like I'm watching it on my, I have a simplified test bench. And so nice and clean, nice and easy. And that looks good. That's what it should look like. You shouldn't have any drop packets on your network or anything like that. Now that we've been running this for a few minutes, let's take a look at the Unify controller. 69 degrees Celsius. So she is working. Although, kind of chilly in here today, so that might be keeping it cool. I would recommend, if you are concerned about heat, when you design your network, obviously put spacers between your switches. So get a rack that's like maybe 1.5 times the size that you're really going to need, and then put spacers between the two, and then put if it's a box, then you need to get air circulating in there somehow. If it's open, like my server rack here is a mini server rack, and so it's open, so the sides are open and the air can go through. But I do recommend spacing them out, because if you stack them, it makes for nice little neat jumpers, but it generates a lot more heat. It retains a lot more heat, and so the actual fans and stuff need to run a lot harder. So if you can space it out, that's better. Let me look at something here. See what space I have actually. So if we open a support office here in the US, which is one of the conversations we're having, because it would help with like RMAs and all that stuff. I'm going to move a lot of this gear to that office, right? I'm not going to work from home anymore. And so I'm just trying to think through how to do that. I kind of like this. What I do like about the Unify stuff is that it makes the actual setup of the network fairly simple. Like, it's all visual, first of all, which is, some people put their nose up at that, but honestly, when you're dealing with installs, you want people to be able to see that the units are talking to each other. Now, you got to be careful here, folks. I had a very good conversation with a guy that is going to quickly become a friend of mine yesterday out of Ontario, who said that his hey, Henadu 92, what's going on? Hey, thanks for that. Where are we here? Come on now, John, get with it. We always do this for our new followers. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Hopefully you heard that. Thanks for coming along for the ride. Let's see if I can. I never know if that's actually working. What's going on, Christian? How are you, man? Boy, this is laggy. Okay, so I like it because oh, now I'm all up to it. Okay, well, hopefully you heard that horn. We blow the DJ horn for new followers. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. That's what I'm talking about. And hey, folks, and all of a sudden, like, people are showing up, right? When the show is pretty much supposed to be over, but I'm still going. So, all right, so I don't, for big installs, okay, for big installs, I'm just trying to think of like how I want to word this so that this is not a recommendation, all right? If you're a network administrator and you're doing more than just NDI for an install, so you're doing like an office network, Unify is probably fine, all right? Phones, internet, whatever. It makes for a great manageable manageable infrastructure, because you can add a cloud key to this stuff and remote in and work on it, update switches, keep them up to date, whatever, and not have to like go in all the time and physically be there. So I love that. Meraki has a solution for that as well. However, The low-level Meraki stuff, the Soho businesses and business switches and that sort of thing, again, not great for NDI because they overheat. And when we're pushing this at 70 degrees all the time, that's not a great operating, level for switches. They should really run lower than that. They should run in the 50s or 40s, like the Fiber, 45 degrees. What's the gateway up to? Look at that. So overall temp 66 degrees on the CPU, but the actual board is 46 degrees. Interesting. So I like this for that, but long term, I don't know if it's sustainable. The way that you could really do it though is you can space them out and then air condition them, and they would probably work a lot better for a lot longer. But like, I'm not in an air-conditioned room right now. I'm in my office, and so they're just running here, and they're noisy switches. Like those fans are going and that's why I have compression on my microphone, because I don't want all that background noise on there. What's going on, Henadu? Hey John, I saw that SSH is enabled on cameras and NDI converters. Also, password authentication for root is enabled. So, what's the password, and is it the same password for all products? I can't tell you the password, and I can't tell you that information. Because that is company stuff. So, if you need help with if you have a password that you can't get into, like a device that's locked up, and Neuralizer isn't working, I can remote in and set that for you. But the SSH stuff is not for end users to be using. It's not really a back door, but there's a manual process for how, like Neuralizer resets the password, right? Well, there's a manual that I can manually do that process as well, but it's not really a back door, But yeah, that's company stuff. I'm not permitted to hand out that information, which is why normally we have to have people mail me stuff, or I have to remote it and do it for them. But that's just part of the process. That's what they pay me for. One of the things. What's going on, everybody? There's even more people showing up. How's it going? Let me know you're here. Someone is able to crack the password and make it public. Every sold device is potentially vulnerable. No, I don't think so. Because there are other protocols and ports that you're going to need to get into. It's not like port 80 or anything silly like that. I would actually be very surprised if you were able to crack that. But I'm not saying it can't be done, I guess. I don't know. So what would you suggest for a wide-angle camera with SDI and NDI? Noisy. The switches are quiet compared to something like my TriCaster TC1. Well, yeah, okay. So noisy is a relative term, right? What's going on, Soundman? How are you? Thanks for jumping in here. Appreciate this, guys. Wow. Maybe I should go back to 2-hour stream. Apparently we have lots of folks that can join us at the 12 o'clock hour. What would I suggest for a wide-angle camera with SDI and NDI? I don't know. BirdDog doesn't make a wide-angle camera. Oh, I don't know who does, actually. In terms of the P200 at full back, it's pretty good in terms of what it captures. I forget what the actual viewing angle is. It's on the tech specs for that. Where is it here? BirdDog.tv/P200 tech specs. I know I found that out. Horizontal angle of view, 63.7 degrees. 63.7 degrees at... I'm hoping that you were hiding them somewhere. Ada NDI 200 has HDMI and NDI HX2. Just be careful mixing HX and full NDI stuff. As long as you're not decoding it on a BirdDog, you're fine. The P4K has a really nice wide image. And a humongous sensor. P4K tech specs. Let's see what their angle view is. 64.6. Do I have a... No, I don't have a P4K anymore. I have one over there, but it's not working right, so I can't fire it up. It does have a nice price tag. She's a beaut. I mean, if you want the best. Something like 90 degrees. I don't think our cameras have the 90 degrees on. The HDMI 4K converters are pretty noisy too. Which ones? Or just the HD one? I don't know. I have a quad. It's not that noisy. What are you doing to it over there? It's a lot quieter than my Unify switches. I'll tell you that much. A lot quieter. Like when I shut down my computer at night, because I'm an IT guy and I turn off my machine every day, those switches are noisy, man. Like I need to put them on like a timer or something and shut them down. Ooh, I could attach them to my smart house. There's an idea. That would be fun. That would be hilarious. Computers turn off? Oh my gosh. Just sitting on my table and doing converting stuff. Alright, hang on. I'll fire up my quad. Alright, let's see what I got here. Bueller. Look, got the right IP. The pre-production model. Maybe this is not set correctly. Let's take a peek at the 168, 135. Ah, there you are. Or is it this one? Yes, this one. Stream 1. Hello. Alright, cool. So far so good. Run it. Oh, there's an idea. Let's run this in UDP. I bet any money, though, it needs to be restarted. Sure does. Always. Reboot. Oh, that's a good shot. Oh my gosh. Boy, that lens, something else, eh? Let's fix this picture real quick. Yoink. probably in manual. Oh yeah, we're way low on the gain. Outdoors. Whoa, that's very cold. No, that's actually not too bad. That's too warm. That's not right. He's like a white picker, right? Oh, great. Let's see here. Still a little bit too blue. All right, that's the threshold there. Pretty close. It's pretty close. Go from there. I think I like that. I really don't want the artificial gain any higher than it has to be, but I think it needs to be there. You can try to limit things here. Whoopsie. The issue with the iris priority is that it doesn't change when you zoom, right? So there's like a threshold. When you zoom, it keeps it dark. Shutter at 90, X comp here, gain limiter. So as you move, should adjust, which gain limiter doesn't need to probably be this high. You want to get it to like whatever your threshold is. Should tone it down here. Jeez. This is the problem with manual settings, is like you have to adjust it. If you let in this much light and the iris isn't moving, that's not going to work, right? Increase the shutter a bit, maybe. Now, yeah, now the shutter's too slow. Set this to something reasonable. I still think I need to be 14.3 so that it doesn't. Cool. Well, pretty close. Alrighty. Oh. Well, thanks for coming along, everybody. This has been fun. I enjoy having you guys around. Trying to slug away at these tickets. We've had some issues yesterday. If you didn't hear, it was without power since Sunday night or Sunday afternoon, all the way through till yesterday around noon. So by then I was mooching off of coffee shops wireless, trying to close tickets, but it was pretty slow going because I was working out of my truck, which stunk. Not literally, but it was just kind of a rough situation. Anyway, so then yesterday around noon, everything came back on, and I came back home. My smart house said that everything was back on, so came in and started trying to just close new tickets and that sort of thing. Just didn't get very far. There was a lot going on, so we're a little bit behind, and we're working at trying to get to everybody's new tickets and then also, follow up and close existing tickets. So that is the goal this week. It's amazing when you miss half a day how much piles up, which is why we're bringing on more help here in the US, so and around the world for that matter. So more on that. If you didn't see earlier today, there was an announcement that we have an event coming up, which you can register for on the BirdDog user group. Also here, it's an announcement. It's going to be noon on Friday. What do we got here? Oh, any hints on Friday? No. But I will include the link here so that you can register for the event if you want. It's on the 20th. So hit that up. Sign up for the webinar, and you'll get a link that you can put in your Google Calendar or whatever. And yeah, join us at noon Eastern time, and we'll have a good time. And there's some big announcements coming up for the camera line, and the video that's on our Facebook page says Cam Control 2.0. So maybe there's a little bit of a clue there as to what's going on. If you want hints, you can watch that video. I believe it's on YouTube as well. But let's see if I can get a copy of the link. Here's the post. So if you want to go directly to the post and then see there's a video there, check that out. A Mac version. I don't know if that's coming or not. I haven't heard of anything there. I did. Demtash. The Zoom one is a few above, and then the Facebook link is there as well. So be sure you check that out. And yeah, register, because it's going to be a fun announcement. We want everybody to kind of jump in. If you've noticed on LinkedIn, we have like 8,000 followers on LinkedIn, which is huge, which is more than a few of our friends in the market. I only see the... Really? It's right here. I'll copy it from the chat. There you go. So let's see here. We've got 8,097 followers on LinkedIn. And let's just go over to Black Magic. How many do they have? Oh, 20,000 followers. Okay, that's a lot. They do more than just NDI, though. Who else could we look up? New Tech? 8,017. So we're just a little bit ahead of New Tech. They're catching up. Who else? Trying to think who else is out there. Awesome. Yeah, sign up for that webinar. It's free. And you'll hear the announcements. It's with Eamon and Dan. So, Kilo View Electronics. Yeah, we have more than them. They have 351 followers. I mean, maybe they don't push their LinkedIn profile, right? Yeah, I'm trying to think who else. Alrighty, so I do need to get back to tickets. That is the unfortunate part of this this show, is that it eventually has to come to an end. And so I really, who knows? I have not really been a fan of them since I have the N1 and it works, but it's not user-friendly like the BirdDog stuff. Oh, really? That's very interesting. What about it is not user-friendly? Because we'd like to avoid whatever it is that they're doing that you don't enjoy. Is it just hard to like manipulate or go in and control, or does it not like have a very intuitive user interface? What is it that you don't like? That it's always good to know what people don't like about your competitors. Always good to know. If of course you're interested in sharing that information. Crazy UI, and it kind of does too much. Gotcha. Yeah, we've had to refine the user UI over the days, because what makes logical sense to us doesn't necessarily translate to people who are just unboxing it and plugging it in. So there's a good long conversation about what that actually looks like and what people expect. But I get it. Yeah, I get it. I haven't seen much from them. I thought they came out with Didn't they come out with a full NDI encoder? Or they announced it at least? Hey! Miller of Oz, this is for you. Thank you so much for following along. Come on. You mean the color temp issue? Color temp? Oh, really? What color temp issue are you talking about? Oh, wow. Yeah, they're... This is bi-directional. But it does look a lot like Dutex. It says protocol full NDI, bi-directional. Is this available for purchase? And what do they want for it? There's nothing about a price anywhere. Let's see if B&H has it. Ha! That's funny. When you type in N3 3G SDI NDI converter, the BirdDog Flex comes up. That's funny. That's funny. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we've had to rethink some of that stuff, and like the cameras, especially the 4K cameras, give us a lot more colored information. So like how to utilize. So it's like the great question though about how much fine tuning do you give everybody, especially people who are not like professionals in the broadcasting world, and so they don't really know what they're doing. Like I've logged into countless people's setups, and they're like, I just can't get the T200 to look right, and it's like 6 clicks, and I'm like, okay, it looks pretty good to me. Like I don't know your stage, I don't know what color that red carpet is supposed to be, but you know the people look like they're naturally lit or naturally colored, and you know, is this close? And they're like, yeah, it took me a long time, and I was like, well, you're running full manual first of all, which is like advanced for even seasoned professionals. And you're like a, church volunteer or something. Like, don't rely on, don't think it's just going to be like click, click, click and you're going to be done. Like, it takes a lot of time and a lot of practice and understanding like color scales and all that sort of thing too. So, okay, this KiloView 3G SDI NDI converter is a special order at like $530 from B&H. There are 0 reviews. And its expected availability is in a month. Yeah, most of it could be fixed with. Yes, I totally agree. And people are like we say, like, oh, did you like use a chip chart on this, or what are you using to? And they're like, well, I'm just trying to like copy and paste. And I'm like, stop. Like, understanding camera dynamics means that copy and paste is like the first thing that you do. And then you got to go in and fine tune things if you're really serious about having all the lenses the same, because they're all sitting at different places in the auditorium. They all have different lumens coming into the lens and all sorts of stuff. I don't recommend anything. I recommend BirdDog products, but I don't recommend anything else. You'll have to talk to a broadcast, somebody who does it day to day. I have a chip chart for my Canon for my M50 and what used to be my T2i. And that's just, I just get that on, that can just be pretty much anything. You just have to know what those colors are. And then match them across the board. But anything is better than no chip chart. Agreed. Agreed. Where is mine? I think I have mine packed away here somewhere. Hang on. Oh! Ah. So remember when I said that we had lost power here for a couple of days? Well, I was looking for my battery backups, and of course they're inside the place where I normally need to charge my batteries for the camera, so shocker there. So yeah, I just have like a simple card, you know, like it's not a huge deal, but I set them up. Whoops. Don't knock that one over. That's an expensive camera. So I just set them up when I'm getting ready to, in a new environment, and, you know, get my colors right. But I just pulled something off of Amazon. Anything is better than nothing, you know? I think this one is digital color card, but it's, I think that company's gone now. Morning, Bugzeek. What's going on? Yeah, still kicking here, eh? I almost signed off once, and then Soundman asked me another question, so we're still here. Still hanging around. Alrighty. Oh, now it's my fault. Well, I thought you wanted to talk. I didn't just cut you off. I wasn't like, Soundman, I'm done talking to you. I'm out of here. Of course not. Come on. I'm nicer than that. Right? I think. Didn't have to redo any of the firmware on the minis. What changed? Soundman, it's not your fault. I'm thrilled that you're here. I promise. I promise you I'm thrilled. Nothing that I know of. I haven't looked today. Okay. Well, it's a work in progress, I guess. Keep me posted. I gotta go in a minute. Okay. I guess that's fine. Okay, cool. Well, very good. I will wrap it up because I know that there are people waiting for me to respond on the tickets, and so I need to get to that. But I really hope that you're having a good start of the week and you're staying safe and staying healthy. There's lots of going on here with this coronavirus, so everybody please stay healthy, stay isolated if you can, and we will we'll get to doing this again tomorrow or on Thursday. Don't forget that there is a webinar that you can sign up for on our website, or on our Facebook page. Sorry. So don't forget to jump in and take a look at that. That registration link is right here. I'm going to put it one more time just in case you missed it. And click on that link. Be sure that you check it out. It's going to be on Friday at noon in Eastern time here in the US. And so looking forward to that. It's going to be middle of the night for the guys in Australia. But they're showing green and red at the moment. So green and red. Red LEDs are decode mode. The greenish blue ones are encode mode. That's what you can tell. They're like greenish blue encode, red is decode, and then green I think is just boot up but no signal or something like that. Have to look again. Anyways, thank you for stopping by. I really appreciate you guys chatting. We had a good day today, and there are announcements coming up from now until the end of the year, so please come back. Please hang out with me on Thursday. More to talk about then, and then Friday we will talk more about this, but I'm considering doing like a after webinar, after party here on Twitch. And so if you want to talk about what it is that you have seen on the webinar, hopefully I will have some more information on all the things that are announced, and I can help you kind of understand. Maybe you can ask your questions. If I don't have the answers, I can get those back to the team and they can publish them on Facebook or something like that. So looking forward to it. Maybe we'll hang out on Thursday, and then maybe we'll hang out on Friday and have a good end of the week. Otherwise, you know where to reach me at help@bird-dog.tv. Remember, support is changing until the end of the year. It's going to be changed. We're going to do things a little bit differently. We can talk more about that on Thursday as well. But thank you so much for coming to hang out. Twitch will continue to roll on as long as I can do it, and as long as they'll let me. And I'm really looking forward to seeing you guys in a couple days. So take care of yourselves. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you next time. Cheers, guys.